Now let's have a look at the canvas. So on the left-hand side, you see a tool panel, and this is one of the main benefits of Invoke, that you have all the tools that you basically need in one place, and you don't need to open Photoshop, resave the image, or go somewhere else, make a sketch. So you can do it inside of here. So what you can do, for example, is if you have a raster layer like in Photoshop, is that you use the pencil here. At the upper left corner, it's a bit hidden, but there you have the color picker, and you can make some drawings inside. When you scroll down and up, then you will zoom in or out. So with 2 fingers, scroll in like up or down, and you can press the space bar to recenter the image, like in different Adobe programs. And if you zoom in, like if you would zoom or pinch to zoom in or out, then you will change the brush size. So this is quite handy. So this is how you refine those. You have a typical eraser, it's quite self-explanatory. Always check that you have the right layer. Then you have some basic shapes that might be useful if you want to block out a whole area. Then you can also move stuff around. So if you would have an image inside, you can move it. I can now move this rectangle here. It will snap to the grid, as you can see. And you have the hand, and also you can press the shortcuts, H for hand and V for selection, and B for brush, as you're probably used to. Then there's this bounding box. So I will now remove this so you can see this bounding box better. Inside here, the generation will happen, but only if you change this mode to the canvas mode. So now we work inside of the canvas. If you are on this gallery mode, it will send images just to the gallery. But we want to work in this canvas, so we will switch it up here. So this is quite important. And you have also controls over the bounding box. You can change the aspect ratio, but I would recommend it to do it over here. And you can also have the color picker pick colors from different images and so on. So that's basically the toolbar on the left side. Let's finally create our first image. So on the left side, you have the positive prompt and the negative prompt. So the things you want in your image and you want to avoid in your image. So I'm going to paste the prompt I already have. And let's press on Invoke. So with this model, it's going quite fast. And then we can see if this result is something we like or not. But for now, I'm quite happy. Maybe the colors are a bit muted, but I first am going to accept it. So whenever generation occurs, then you have a few options what to do with it. So let's imagine you have something beneath this image, then you can temporarily hide this image and show it again, maybe to compare it. Then you can accept the image. You can send it to the gallery directly, or you have a few other options on this side. So let's accept it, and it will make a new raster image with our cat inside. And you can enable or disable the image, but it's not the same as showing the layer or not showing the layer. So right now, this image layer is active, but you will not show it. But it will still have an effect on the next generation, because when you have an active raster layer beneath and you put another generation on top, then there's this denoising strength. And if it's quite low, let's try it at 0.35 and do another generation. Then it will be a very similar cat, but with the small details that change. So let's compare this. So I'll temporarily hide it. So you see a few details changed, but it's quite minimal. But we're still going to accept it. And now we have 2 layers. But because the other layer, like in Photoshop, is blocking out the whole image, the layer beneath is not playing a major, so any kind of role. And if we want to have a more drastic change, then we can change the denoising strength, still keep this image active, and make another one. Okay, and now when we compare it, you see it's quite different, but still in the same kind of vibe. So the car is still the same, but only details changed, like the posture and stuff. So we can accept it, and now we have our first image, but only in the layers. So there's still no image in the galleries or in the assets, but we can save those. So when you look at the top, there's also some tools you can use. So for example, you can fit the layers to the canvas, so it will be bigger. And you can also save this to the gallery. So let's try this, and now we have it in the gallery, and you can reverse what you did and you can undo, and there's a small few different changes, but I leave it at default here. So now what I'm going to show you is a small preview of what control layers might do, because now we just have the control over the image with our prompt. So we can of course change the aspect ratio, but basically we can only control it with our prompt. So I'm going to quickly show you what's possible with control layers. So up here at the top right side, we have the small plus, and we add a layer, and we want a control layer. So the control layer needs another image, so it might be also this one. But because we have also saved this already to the gallery, we can go to the gallery and right press on this one and say new layer from image, and we want a control layer. So now we accidentally have two, so I will delete the former one. And now here we can choose the Union Pro. If you don't have it and because you forgot to install it, it's on the models here, and you can find it in the starter models. But you should have it now, and then you can click on the right side and, for example, choose Canny Edge Detection. So because it's now hidden, we can show it again, and then you have this one. So it will make just a few sketchy lines, and we can apply this. So now it will sit on top. Because I want it active, but not, I don't want to see it, I can disable it here, or like make it hidden. And for example, I can make a black cat sitting on the leather car seat. So it will be basically in the same shape. So hopefully also the car stays in the roughly the same shape and size. So everything like the posture will stay, but the cat should be black now. So let's check. Okay, this is looking good. And we kind of got what we want. We want the same image composition, but we want another cat. So now we can compare it. So I can hide this layer. So now we have the same composition, but with another cat. So this is one thing that control layers can do. And in later videos, I'm going to have a deep dive on even more control layers. So when we check here, there's not only canny edge detection, but there's a lot more. Finally, I'm going to show you a few things about the bounding box. So you can choose the bounding box tool, and with this one you can also move it, so you don't have to generate in the same place. So let's zoom a bit out and move it to this side. And what we also want to do is change another aspect ratio. So we want 16:9, and I would recommend to stay on the optimized sizes, because if you go too high, it might have some weird things going on. So let's accept this one, and now we can generate another one, and it will happen here.